What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Happy Monday, people. International break settings, not the most exciting of times, I can't lie, when it comes to football, but we have to embrace it for what it is, take a bit of relaxation and just, count down until they come back from international duty. And there is a few decent international games that we can watch. I think England play Brazil, England play Belgium. France play Germany as well. So a few decent games there. We'll talk transfers. It's mainly transfer news to discuss today. And big up to everyone on this Monday. Hope you're well. Make sure you like the video, subscribe. Yeah, a couple minutes late today. Apologies, people. I can't lie. I was making a drink there as I was about to begin, so my apologies. And the washing machine was making a whole heap of noise, so I had to turn that off as well. But big up, hope you're all well. What about the game yesterday in the FA Cup, man? That was an intriguing game. I have to admit, as a neutral, probably the most exciting game of the season. With Manchester United and Liverpool. It was carnage, but it was exciting, and Man United beating Liverpool 4-3. Do you know what? Before the game started, I was kind of like, what do I want to happen here? I was a little bit thinking, if Liverpool win, that's a good thing for Arsenal, because then they've got FA Cup semi-final, maybe a final, more fixtures, more fatigue. But when they lost, I can't lie, I was kind of like happy as well, because I felt like it humbled them a little bit. On they were talking about quadruples and all of that, and then, Klopp's going mad at the interviewer. If anybody hasn't seen that Klopp interview after the game, go and watch that. Klopp called the reporter, or he said the question was dumb, and then walked off and said, like, what's wrong with you? Klopp was not happy, bro. If Arteta did that, he'd probably be arrested. You know the way they go mad at Arsenal. So, yeah, man, Klopp was fuming. The quad was over. So, yeah, in the end, I look at everything from the viewpoint of an Arsenal fan and how it can benefit us. And I think the way they lost and who it was against is definitely quite damaging for Liverpool. And I have to admit, I was tweeting quite a lot during the game, and I thought Liverpool were cruising to victory after 60, 70 minutes. I actually tweeted, this looks like a training session. And but they didn't get that third goal. Nunes gives it away. They concede. Endo doesn't block Antony's shot. Harvey Elliott gives the ball away. And they got done. And Amad Diallo scored. And I have to admit, United in the end, man, they fought their way to victory. What a player Kobe Mainoo is, by the way. 18 years of age. And the reason I actually rate him so highly is central midfield, I think, is one of the hardest positions for a young player to come through in the modern game, because you're on the ball so often, you're under so much pressure, and he makes it look easy. He plays with the maturity of like a 25-year-old. Genuinely shocked he's not in the England squad when you're picking people like Jordan Henderson, which makes no sense to me whatsoever. But yeah, he's a proper player. It was an exciting game, and it is what it is. Man United get Coventry City in the semi-final. Man City get Chelsea. I'm glad that City got Chelsea, just again from an Arsenal point of view. Hard game at Wembley, semi-final, and then potentially a final. So yeah, man, I think it was a good weekend for the FA Cup. A lot of people are quite down on the FA Cup. And, Coventry did really well beating Wolves. Leicester made a real good go of it against Chelsea. Just lost in that. City won comfortably. Boring game for City, but, And then United, Liverpool was a brilliant game. So yeah, man, it was a good weekend for the FA Cup. Gonna be totally honest as an Arsenal fan. I know Arteta doesn't seem to take the FA Cup that seriously, but looking at that FA Cup this weekend, I wouldn't have mind Arsenal being involved in a quarter-final. I know we're challenging for two trophies, but the FA Cup still means a lot to me personally, and I would have liked Arsenal to have been in the mix, but it is what it is. Bigger fish to fry, as they say, people. Let's make sure we catch them fish this season. But yeah, man, I would have liked Arsenal to have been involved in that, but it is what it is. Let's hope we win one of the bigger ones. Ten Hag reaching more finals than Arteta in 2 seasons. I mean, yeah, listen, they should beat Coventry. Yeah, I've just seen that online, people. There's a lot of discussion around this. Sky haven't reported it yet, but the Guardian have just reported online that Nottingham Forest have been deducted 4 points, and I can already see online a lot of people complaining about that. Everton complaining, why did they get 6 points, Forest getting 4? Luton fans complaining, obviously they want Forest to get deducted more points, but Nottingham Forest have been handed a 4-point deduction from their points tally. It's online, it's in the Guardian. So 4 points for Nottingham Forest. What will that do to them? Will that send them down? Yes, I did see Kyrie Irving. Apologies, I always sway away from football, whether it's hip hop or music or basketball. But Kyrie, one-handed hook shot over Jokic, buzzer beater. I mean, yo, I've got the Kyrie Irving jersey when he was at Brooklyn, man. He's listen, one of the most skillful dribblers we've probably ever seen, man. What a buzzer beater that was. Static said, facts, Curtis, FA Cup means a lot to me too. I really don't understand why we kind of act like that with the FA Cup when we play in it. I don't know. It is what it is, man. Do you know what? And I have to say this, man, and I hope some people will say I'm being sour when I say this, but I genuinely am not saying this through any kind of jealousy or anything. I want to know what you guys think in the chat. And Kyrie was fasting as well. I genuinely mean this. Manchester City, to me, I need to think about this before I say this, but are Manchester City the most boring good team that we've ever seen in the Premier League? And I'm not saying this in any kind of hating way. I can go back through all the years. Man United under Ferguson, whether it was Cantona, Rooney, Van Nistelrooy, Ronaldo, whatever. As much as I didn't like them, they were good to watch. Chelsea under Mourinho, you know, Arjen Robben, Diego Costa, Drogba, all of those teams, even Conte, enjoyable to watch even though I didn't like them. Arsenal, you know, Ian Wright, Bergkamp, Anelka, Henry, always exciting. Even Leicester with Vardy and Mahrez, I enjoyed watching them. I'm sure even Blackburn were exciting. You know, Shearer was scoring 30 goals a season. They were exciting. No hate whatsoever. Genuinely honest. This is the most boring, successful team that I have ever watched. I watch City games and I'm like this. I'm like, oh, how long until Haaland scores from 4 yards out? And it's just like, honestly, I hope I don't sound sour saying that, you know, because listen, I enjoyed watching City when they had Sterling and Sané and Aguero, and them teams went, this Man City team will put you to sleep. Like, I think they're so boring to watch, and I don't mean that with any hate whatsoever. That's not taking anything away from them. They're a great team, and I'm sure their fans will say, oh, it's boring winning a treble. You know, I wouldn't mind Arsenal being boring winning a treble, but, you know, they are not good to watch, man. Like, yeah, maybe the purists will say, well, the way they keep the ball's great to watch, but they're boring, man. I can't lie. I don't think anybody, and I said this before, they won the treble last year and nobody talks about it apart from Man City fans. Like, I think if United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal had won the treble, Liverpool, you'd be talking about it for years to come. City won the treble, and you're like, listen, Daniel, it might sound sour, and I'm open-minded about people saying, oh, you're just hating. I'm not hating. I've even broke it down for you there. I believe this is the most boring, successful team we've ever seen in England. But I can't lie, you know, if we won the treble playing like that, I wouldn't complain. And Liverpool, Mane, Firmino, Salah, come on. That was blockbuster football as well. So, I don't know, man. I think they're a bit boring. But, you know, Pep will say it's perfect. So, it might sound like I'm hating, but I'm not genuinely. Anyway, let's talk one or two other things. Kylian Mbappe. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Heroes in a hat shell. Turtle power. I don't know which one he looks most like. I suppose they all look the same, don't they? Like I said, growing up, I liked Leonardo, the blue one, and Raphael, I think, the red one as well. But Kylian Mbappe, there was a video that was going around. I can't. Well, I probably could play it actually, but I don't want to risk it. But Kylian Mbappe was asked by a young Arsenal fan. He said, "Come to Arsenal." I like that. I respect it, man. See, we're all trying to do our part, people. We're all trying to play our part. You know, I said, Mikel, go and get Kylian Mbappe. They said, you're crazy. Don't ask him that question. I knew the vision. Get Mbappe. Kylian Mbappe said there's no way he would join Arsenal in the summer because it's too cold in England. Now, Kylian, listen. Like, just tell us the truth. That's all we want. I just want the truth, Kylian. I don't want you to tell me it's too cold in England because I've been to Paris and it ain't hot there, bro. It's not hot in Paris. It rains a hell of a lot in Paris. So tell me the truth. Don't tell me it's too cold. We can do something about it. We'll put the radiators on. We're prepared to put the heating bill up to make you feel good, bro. Listen, we all know he's just trying to be polite. The one thing I like about it, when he was asked all them years ago to go to Tottenham, he laughed and didn't say anything else. You know, it just was a joke. At least with Arsenal, he's saying, you know, it's too cold. So I take that. You know, it's a bit more respectful than what he did to Tottenham. But you're right. Only the truth will set you free. I wanted him to just say, you know, the truth. Don't tell us it's too cold, bro. I don't want that. I want you to be honest with me. Just going through your TikToks, too much bants. Make sure you follow Curtis Shaw TV on TikTok. My last reaction video on there got 128,000 views. Follow me on there for all the goal reactions, people. Yeah, that's what you call cold feet. Listen, we know what it is. We can move the club if we have to. Didn't Stan Kroenke move the Rams from St. Louis to LA? If we got to move, we'll move, bro. You're right. We'll play in Dubai. I don't mind. Whatever's necessary, we'll make it happen. Training ground, stadium, where we need to be, we will move. But you know what? I respect it. You know, he's trying to be polite. He's trying to be polite. And, you know, it is what it is. The dream is it's coming to an end unless we have a sudden heat wave. He's going Madrid. We all know he is. By the way, did you see his hat-trick last night? I know it's the French league, but the best player in the world, in my opinion. I don't care if it's the French league. This guy does it in the Champions League. He does it in the World Cup. Absolutely outrageous. And he's a game changer, isn't he? You get him, you're going to win. If he goes Madrid, they're going to win. Yeah, we'll ground share with Madrid. We'll move to Spain, whatever's necessary. Dubai Gunners, people. Dubai Gunners. I'll take it if we get Kylian. But yeah, as I said, for those of you just tuning in, Forest have been deducted 4 points. Mbappe says it's too cold in London, which is his polite way of saying, I don't rate you, man. But it is what it is, people. You know, at least we're trying. And we're speaking about game changers. Today, we're going to focus a lot on strikers. We want to talk about strikers because there's not a lot of news going off at the moment apart from transfer rumours, international break. And what we do want is the game changer. Who is the game changer for Arsenal? Who's the guy that's going to come in, score the goals and take us to the next level? Big up Dr. Barron, who said baking pancakes for my daughter with Curtis Shaw TV in the background. Well, it's a great Monday. That is a great Monday, I can't lie. The striker we're being linked with today heavily is Benjamin Sesko. Cisco, maybe. That fong. I like the way the beat go, da-da-da-da. Listen, I apologise. It's Monday. You know, singing Cisco, it's a bit outrageous. It's international break. It does crazy things to your brain, people, when you know you've got to watch England on Saturday night. But Sesko, not Cisco. Arsenal are keeping tabs on RB Leipzig striker Benjamin Sesko ahead of the summer transfer window, with club scouts recommending the player to Mikel Arteta on numerous occasions this season. Sesko is perceived to have good value release clause in his contract worth 43 million, due to become active when the transfer window reopens. It's time for a poll. And no, you're not in a strip club. I don't want to sway anyone's opinion. Would you buy Sesko for 43 million? Yes or no? First poll of the day. I'm going to be honest. Would you buy Sesko for 43 million? 43 mil this summer. Yes or no? Let me know. And listen, if any of you watch the Bundesliga on a regular basis and you've watched this guy, I'd appreciate it if you could drop a little message in the chat and just tell me what you think of him and what he's like. I've watched him a few times. I've watched his highlights. I don't want him. I'm going to be real. It's not for me. If you were signing him and signing another one, and he's your backup strike, I don't believe Sesko is a game changer for Arsenal Football Club. I think he's got potential. I don't think he's ready. I don't think he's necessarily even an upgrade on the players we've got. I'm going to be honest. It's not all about stats, but it is a little bit about stats. 23 games this year for Leipzig, 7 goals. That does not impress me, I'm sorry. I mean, just to put that into context, Kai Havertz has got 8 goals. And yet, and Havertz has played half the season in midfield. I was saying he's one of the worst signings we've ever made until about 6 weeks ago when I shamelessly started saying I've always rated him. I mean, listen, Sesko's 20 years of age, 6'4". He's a big lad, right? But 7 goals in 23 games, 16 last year in the Austrian league. This to me is like you're going Selfridges. You've got a big night out. You've already lined up the Louis Vuitton t-shirt. It's about £450. But on the way to Selfridges, you've seen a TK Maxx. Let me go in there, have a look. Might get some underwear, some socks, nice and cheap. While you're in there, you had a look on the sale section. You saw a nice Ralph Lauren shirt. It's one size too big, but it's on sale, 70% off. Do I spend $450 on the Louis t-shirt? We're in recession. If I buy the cheaper shirt, I can spend more in the club. Maybe I can get myself a bottle of champagne. Sparklers with the girls, you know, and they bounce them up and down the bottles of champagne. Maybe I can do that. So you buy the Ralph Lauren shirt instead. But you're a large and this is an extra large. It doesn't fit that well, but you go for it anyway. You look back on the pictures, you realise you got it all wrong. You saved money, the outfit didn't look as good. You've put it in the wash, and now the thread's coming out of it as well. So guess what? You can't actually wear that shirt again because it's finished. This is what I believe we're doing here, people. I believe we should be in Harrods, we should be in Selfridges. Instead, we've passed by TK Maxx. It's got a red sticker on it, 70% off. Was £120 now. What would 70% off be? I don't know. £36 we'd get it for. We've got a bargain, but your night out didn't go as well as planned. You did have the bottle of champagne. The girls did bring them over, bouncing them in the club like that. But your swag was all over the place. The night did not go as planned, people. I do not want the cheap option. I want the right option. I say it again for those louder at the back. I don't want the cheap option. I want the right option. This guy, in my opinion, is not the right option. I don't care how old he is. I don't care how tall he is. I don't care about what he did last year in the Austrian league. Does he take Arsenal Football Club to the next level? As the answer is no. End the stream, Dave. Lock it off. I believe Arsenal are bargain hunting. Look what they're saying. Good value release clause. Oh, we like Osimhen, yeah, but 110 million release clause. That's a lot of money. Oh, Ivan Toney, 75 million. Yeah, but he's 28. He got banned as well for betting. You know, could we sell him in the future? His value will decrease. What about Gyökeres with the, you know, the celebration? Yeah, but 85 million and 1 year in Portugal. All right, we got this lad Sesko, 43 million release clause. And we all know Edu loves a release clause, people. Because you know what a release clause means, don't you? No negotiation. Sporting director don't have to do anything. Drop the bag and leave. No conversation. Loves a release clause, people. Especially a cheap one. This to me... And again, I'm looking in the comments. I want to know your thoughts and opinions. And hopefully some of you watch this guy a bit as well. Think he's too raw, but I trust Arteta if he wants him. No striker is available to take Arsenal to the next level. Does Toney Does Osimhen? Does Gyökeres? Does Isak? I would say they're all better than this guy from what I've seen, but I could be wrong. You're good in maths. Well, I think I got a C in maths, GCSE. It's not amazing, but I can get the basics. When algebra started coming into maths, I don't know about anyone else. I was all over the place. When they started putting letters in, A1 plus, I was like, yo, what are you talking about letters for? But hey, I don't want to go back to the school days. It's like Bunsen burners, innit? I used to use a Bunsen burner every Monday in science. The day I left school, I never seen or used a Bunsen burner for the rest of my life. How many hours did I use with a Bunsen burner? I don't get it. What, you had me doing maths with algebra and Bunsen burners. I was burning things every Monday in the school lesson. I've never used one since. Let me not start talking about school, because the school system is flawed as well. Flawed just like this signing, in my opinion. Sesko, every little helps. I mean, they're trying to save money for barbecues in the summer or what? Yeah, I saw that. Mikel Arteta is in Madrid. He is in Madrid. I saw that. Yeah, Brahim. Yeah, I seen that. I'd rather he got Vinicius Jr., but hey, we'll leave it at that. Litmus paper. Crazy, innit? Half the stuff you used in school, have you ever actually used them in your life? Who uses Bunsen burners? I want to know. I did, they were quite fun in school, to be fair. But yeah, let me get back to the subject. But yeah, Sesko, not happy with this. Cope said, Curtis and C Unit, thanks for making my life easier. Big up, bro. Big up the community as well. You guys make the channel what it is. So big up to all of you. Highly wanted criminal. They can't afford my wages. Honest and that's what Mbappe should have said. They can't pay $1 million a week, bro. So it's got nothing to do with the cold. Let's not pretend Paris is the Bahamas. I've been Paris. It's just like England, bro. It rains, it gets cold. So the weather one, you tried to let us down gently. I get it. It is what it is. It is what it is. I'm sure he could have been way more harsh, so he let us down gently. Cole said, what about Santiago Jimenez? I thought that was the striker out of goal who played for Newcastle. Oh, Nunez? No, Santiago Jimenez. Again, I don't know enough about the guy, to be honest. I know he looks decent. Buy cheap, you buy twice. Brahim Diaz is quality. If he comes to us, he'd be given the same chance Odegaard got. Mbappe laughing is disrespectful. He ain't no Thierry Henry. I mean, he is the best player in the world, though, You said the same TK Maxx story for Odegaard, and he turned out good. Nice fitting Gucci shirt. Yeah, I mean, listen, he evolved. He always talks about, it's like Carmelian. He evolves. He turns into Charizard. That's what happened with Odegaard, He's a little Carmelian. Now he's Charizard. Fire coming out of his mouth. It is what it is. Paris has the same weather as London. Maybe not Newcastle. Munez is a decent option. Listen, for me, this guy, Sesko, not for me, people. Not for me. I think there's better options than him. And I feel like this could be a way of Arsenal trying to spend money in various different areas. Because, listen, this year we did something we've never done. We spent £100 million on a player, which was amazing. And if you look at it, he's been our best player, or definitely the best signing this season, maybe in the whole Premier League. But what that did, it stopped us spending big money on multiple other players. Right? Yes, we got Havertz and we got Timber. Then we had to start getting players on loan. We got Raya on loan and we couldn't do anything else. So I'm wondering if Arteta's not prepared to spend that kind of money on another player. And the reality is, to spend £100 million on a player, you've got to be totally convinced by him. The club were totally convinced by Declan Reiss. Maybe they're not totally convinced by Osimhen and Gyökeres, and they don't believe there's value in spending big money on someone you're not totally convinced by. I don't know. That signing Sesko does not convince me. And if we sign him, I think it's more of a business deal. You're going, he's 20, he's 43 million. We can develop him, but I don't think he's the right guy. 70% of you in the comments saying, no, you wouldn't sign Sesko. 30% saying, yes. Yeah, I've seen the new England kit. England kits are just like, meh. I don't buy England kits. They don't win the tournament in the England kit. It don't really matter what they're playing in as far as I'm concerned. If they win it, then cool. If they don't, who cares what kit it was? Listen, I hope that's not real, by the way. I hope that's not real, that report. That report comes from Give Me Sport. I mean, they're not, it's not the best source, let's put it that way. And I'm sure we are keeping tabs on him. And everything in that report says the scouts. The scouts are recommending the player to Arteta. They've watched him. They believe it's good value. It don't matter what the scout thinks. If Arteta doesn't agree with it, then it doesn't happen. So, yeah, I hope it doesn't happen. I'd probably rather have... apologies. I'd probably rather have Sesko up front than Sesko. It's got me sneezing there and all sorts of people. But yeah, we don't want him. Eddie Nketiah is the one, Curtis. Yeah, he will be the one at Sheffield United in the Championship. So yeah, man, it's yeah, I appreciate that. Hey, spud me, G, spud me. I appreciate that. Diaz doesn't even start for Madrid. Bond that, yeah, but remember, my friend, Odegaard didn't start for Madrid. Alexis Sanchez was getting benched at Barcelona. Arsenal signing a player that doesn't start at Madrid pretty much doesn't mean it's a player we shouldn't be looking at. I'm not saying Brahim Diaz is who we should be going for, but plenty of quality players have been to Madrid, sat on the bench, and Barcelona gone elsewhere and ripped it up. Alexis was getting benched, and he's one of the best wingers we've ever seen at Arsenal. So, anyway, let's move on, people. Continue with the striker conversation. And let's talk about one that does excite me a lot more than Benjamin Sesko, and that is man like Gyökeres. Hat-trick over the weekend. Victor Gyökeres. The problem with this situation, it's becoming clear now that they want the release clause. A few weeks ago, the story going around was Gyökeres... there's negotiation there. And what I meant by that was there's an £85 million release clause, but the feeling was you could maybe get him for 50 or 60 million. But we're now running into a major problem. And the major problem is the guy can't stop scoring goals. You know what I mean? And when a guy can't stop scoring goals, the price goes up. Yesterday's price is not today's price. Fat Joe settings, people. If you know, you know. Hat-trick over the weekend. 6-1 win against Boa Vista. The guy is a gunman in that league. He is ripping it to shreds. 22 goals and 10 assists in 24 league games. In Europa League, 5 goals and 2 assists in 9 games. And in their cup competition, 2 games, 3 goals, 30 goals and 12 assists in 35 games. The guy is on fire. 25 years of age. He's starting for Sweden at the moment in their qualifiers. £85 million release clause. You ain't getting him for a penny less now. The interest in him is getting bigger. 6'2". Sesko is 6'4". This guy looks a bit more... I don't know who's quicker out of the two, to be honest. But this guy is turning into a gunman. Now, of course, there's always an element of risk. A year ago, this guy was in the Championship, playing for Coventry. Arsenal would not have wanted to sign a player from Coventry. But I kind of look at that in a positive way, because I always say the Championship's one of the hardest leagues to play in. It is a horrible, difficult league to play in. So physical. And they play 46 games a season. Now, we had 2 full seasons in the Championship. He played 45 games, 17 goals, 5 assists. That was his first full season. Second season, he played 49 games because 3 games were playoff games. 21 goals, 12 assists. But he showed he doesn't hardly get injured. He can deal with the physicality. He obviously speaks English as well. He came through in this country at Brighton. So he knows that physical side. He's gone to Portugal. He's still doing the business. I'm way more excited about this transfer than Sesko, right? And he doesn't mind how cold it is in England, unlike Kylian Mbappe. Bon Mbappe! Never rated that Ninja Turtle. You know what I mean? Nah, listen, it is what it is. Shameless settings. Listen, this guy is exciting. I always say you have to approach with caution, coming from a league that's not as strong as the Prem, and but he looks good. He looks good. And like I said, every striker that is going to be available this summer, There is a risk and reward attached to each one. Is Osimhen worth 110 million? Do you pay 60, 70, 80 million for Tony, who's just turned 28 and has had a ban for betting? Gyökeres, 1 year in Portugal. Is that enough to spend 85 million? Sesko, not really hitting big numbers in Germany, but he's 20. Is he the answer? Isak, cost you 80, 90 million, but gets injured a lot. So it's about which risk is the best risk to take, and that's where we're at with it, I'm afraid. So, Kylian Mbappe. Yo, I ain't singing that song again, bro. I'm fuming with him. And watched him score that hat-trick last night didn't help, you know. I was thinking, oh, if only. Yeah, I'll be honest. I haven't watched many full games of this guy play. So I can't pretend that I've, seen him time and time again. Again, a lot of you may have seen him more than me, but he looks exciting, and I think somebody's going to buy him this summer. The striker market is going to be crazy this summer. Genuinely is. PSG lose Mbappe. They're going to need a striker. You look at Barcelona, Lewandowski's 35, can't go on forever. Man United, Højlund, young player, been injured. They might want another striker. Arsenal will need one. Chelsea need one. Tottenham didn't really replace Kane. There is going to be a lot of clubs in Europe looking for strikers this summer, 100%. So you've got Act Ollie Watkins as well, another one that's banged goals in. So Gyökeres, definitely exciting, but is he worth 85 million? And again, like you said, J-Dime, he could be a highlight merchant. I have not watched this guy for 90 minutes consistently, so there's a lot of risk, but what I will say, when I watch him, he's exciting. He's aggressive. He's got goals in him, a variety of goals as well. So interesting. It's funny, though, because 4 or 5 days ago, the reports online were Gyökeres is the top target. Then over the end of last week, they were saying, listen, Osimhen's always been the top target. Now this week, they're saying Sesko. So who knows? Who knows, people? They did replace Kane. They got Timo Werner. What a legend he is, mate. Missing from 2 yards out. He put the ball further wide than the distance that he was from the goal. He's about 2 or 3 yards out. He put it 4 or 5 yards wide. That is a unique skill. Only Timo Werner could do that. A linked FC, at the training ground FC. How about back-to-back titles FC, or one player with a Ballon d'Or in your 100-year history? Anyway, big up C. Hey, MJ's getting out of hand now, And I actually don't know what team he supports, but obviously we know it's not Arsenal. He keeps coming in here and dropping grenades, but I'll let you get away with it for the time being, but you're very close to that timeout. I can't accept this forever. MJ, let me know in the chat what team you support, because I need to fire back. You're just moving mysterious, but big up yourself. JV said Gyökeres is Kane-esque, knows how to dribble, pass, run, not a tapping merchant like Haaland. And George said, I'm done with these rumours until I see them for us for a good period of time. Just remember last year how people were losing it over Mudryk. Look at the chat now. Yeah, exactly. Dominic said, Ivan Toney's a bit too lippy for my liking. He should be more loyal to Brentford. A lot of people get annoyed, don't they, with Ivan Toney. He's very open about his, eagerness to move on from Brentford. And a lot of people think it's disrespectful. But I would imagine that Brentford are in on those conversations. And listen, sometimes you have to remember, people, we look at sometimes as Tony's being disrespectful to Brentford because he's talking openly about a move. How do we know that Brentford are not supporting those conversations because they know that might drive his price up? Listen, the problem is if he keeps talking and his form dips, he might actually cost himself a big move, because big clubs will look at it and go, we don't want somebody like that talks. If he backs up his talk with a whole heap of goals, people will sign him regardless. Let's be real. Top players, they don't turn them down. It seems as if Man United are considering what to do with Mason Greenwood. And look what that guy did. Do you know what I'm saying? Because football is a shameless business. And if they feel you can produce something, morals seem to go out the window sometimes in football. So, but yeah, listen, it is disrespectful. But if he keeps them in the Premier League, he's a hero regardless of what he says. and does. But, you know, it is what it is. We'll see. I think they lost at the weekend to Burnley, so that won't help. Big C, you see Dusan being fined by Juventus for arguing with Allegri. Ooh, I didn't see that. I did not see that. That's, listen, Allegri's a confrontational guy, isn't he? So, doesn't surprise me. Is that going to be enough to convince him to leave? I don't know. There's rumours of a new contract. Yeah, they drew 0-0 with Genoa, and he's being criticised as well. Italian papers rated Vlahovic and Chiesa as the worst performers in yesterday's draw against Genoa. With his outburst towards Allegri at the end of the match, he expressed his frustration. Another match without a goal showed dissatisfaction that comes from the squad in this bad run of form. It's believed he'll be fined a week's wages. Oof. There you go. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Maybe we could get Daily Dusan back, people. Maybe we could get Daily Dusan back. Hey, you never know. But hey, it's a long shot. Yeah, Forest have been docked 4 points. I think they'll probably be happy with that. Everton obviously had 10 and then it was reduced to 6. 4 is still not bad for them. Right, let me finish off, the striker discussion. Big up South London's finest with that info as well. Charles Watts has got a report out today about this man, Victor Osimhen, the man with the mask. Saying that from his point of view, he is very much one of the top targets for Arsenal, but he does not know if Arsenal will have the finances to get this deal done. It's believed, the report says he wants 250 grand a week. I don't believe that. I think he would be looking for more than that, but who knows? You know, he was offered around 800,000 a week. Apparently at the moment he's on 120 grand a week. They reckon he wants to double his wages. Charles Watts saying that Arsenal may struggle to get the deal done for Victor Osimhen. £110 million release clause, a signing on fee of around 10 million and a wage of £250,000 a week it would cost to get the deal done. His agent was pictured at Arsenal training ground last summer for a meeting with Edu, and it's believed he is a big target for this summer, but Arsenal may not be able to afford the deal. Now, I want to say, first of all, a couple of things about this. I always say the guy that Arteta wants is the guy that we should get, because I think once you start signing players the manager doesn't want, it goes downhill. If Arteta wants Osimhen, I don't want to hear these pathetic excuses. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that Arsenal can't afford him. They can afford him. The Emirates is sold out every single week. They were selling tickets, not Arsenal, but people online were selling Arsenal tickets for £500 against Porto. And they were selling straight away. How much do you think those Bayern Munich tickets at home are going to sell for? How much? They will sell for a fortune. This football club brings out merch nearly every other week. Their kits sell out all the time, right? We spent 105 million on Declan Reiss this year. We're in the Champions League. We're in the last stages. We're making money. I do not want to hear nothing about we can't afford him. That's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. The club will probably have around 100 to 150 million to spend, plus player sales. FFP, listen, if Edu does his job this summer properly, Arsenal should have no problem spending big money. Ramsdale, potentially Smith Rowe, potentially Fabio Vieira, Eddie Nketiah. There's just a few options straight away. Then add in Sambi Lokonga, Nuno Tavares. You release Cedric, you release El Neni. This football club have got no excuse if they do their job. You should be getting 30 million minimum for Aaron Ramsdale, England international, right? 25 years of age goalkeeper, minimum 30 million. If you sold Smith Rowe, should be minimum 30 million, right? If you sold Fabio Vieira, you should get at least 20 million. Eddie and Ketty are at least 20 million. You get Cedric and El Neni off the wage bill. You then maybe get 10, 15 for Lokonga. He's having a decent loan. Tavares get 5 to 10 million for him. Listen, they should make 100 million plus in player sales and free up a whole heap of wages. Kieran Tierney as well should be minimum 20 million. Plus his 100 grand a week wages off the wage bill. The club have got no excuse. They should be dropping £250 million this summer in the market. If you spend 110 million on him, that should still leave you 140. That still gets you the right winger and a centre midfielder. Maybe a cheap defender if you need a bit of cover, or a cheap second choice goalkeeper if Ramsdale leaves. Don't give this club the excuse of spewing out things like they can't afford it. We're in the quarter-final of the Champions League. We've been in the Europa League for years, not making hardly any money out of Europe. They are making a fortune getting to this stage of the Champions League. Every game on TV, every game sold out, ticket prices through the roof. I don't want to hear it. If he wants Osimhen, pay the 110 million release clause. Now, do I think he's worth it? Maybe not. He's injured a lot. He's not having a great season. But he does have, last season he was prolific in a title win. And he's done it in the Champions League. People saying tickets for Bayern on StubHub, €616. Do you know what I mean? And you want to tell me about we can't afford it. Listen, some of you saying in the comments he's not worth it. Cool. That's a totally different discussion, and I respect that. I respect that if you don't think he's a £110 million player. Some people think he is, some people think he isn't. Reality is, when we signed Declan Reiss, defensive midfielder from West Ham, was he a £105 million player? I didn't think he was. I said it all the time last year. I don't think Declan Reiss is worth 105 million. But if the manager wants him, pay the money. And now I'm sitting here going, I don't care how much he costs. Look how good he is. So I'm sitting here now going, I don't think Osimhen is a £110 million player. I don't. I think he's a decent finisher if you create a lot of chances. I think he's a live wire. He's strong. He's good in the air. I don't think his all-round game is that good. But you bring him to Arsenal, he scores 20 to 25 league goals, I'll fall back and say, what a player. So it's a big risk. If they're going to spend it, they need to be fully convinced. But FFP is not an excuse. Profit and sustainability is not an excuse. Apparently, we've made £91 million reaching the quarter-final. You've nearly bought him just by your Champions League run alone. Let alone the fact we're going to qualify for the Champions League again, and all the merch and everything. So no, man, I'm not buying into the whole we can't afford him situation. Season tickets went up this year. We haven't been in the Champions League for 7 years. Season ticket went up about nearly £100 this year. So I don't want to hear nothing to do with money. Osimhen is better off going to PSG than the Prem. Shaq said, I think he could be successful. He's physical, good shooting, good passing. I mean, listen, he's a big lad. He's strong. He's reasonably quick. 25 years of age. I said it before. If we don't get him, I'll say he's overrated. I never wanted him. If we sign him, I'll say he's a monster. 26 goals last year, 4 assists, won the title. 17 games this year. He's missed 11 games. 11 games now through injury this season. That's my biggest concern. 6 last year, 11 the year before, 14 the year before. The injury record is a major, major concern. But the afford it thing is... Listen, 100 million is the going rate. Gyökeres had one good season in Portugal, 85 million. 6 months ago, I never heard of Gyökeres. If you said Gyökeres, I'd say, what's that, a Pokemon character? I don't know what that is. Charizard, Gyökeres, I wouldn't have known who that was 6 months ago. Now we're paying 85 million for him. That's football. 6 good months, 80 million. Mudryk, 6 months in the Ukrainian league with a car park behind the goal and a running track. £88 million. Never heard of him. They were saying Mudryk. I thought we were signing Luka Modric. Never heard of him. Car park Neymar. This guy's won the Italian league. Won the Golden Boot. You know, you're going to pay 100 million. That's why I'm scared they'll go for Sesko. Because they'll look at Sesko and they'll go, well, 43 million, it's not much of a risk. 20 years of age, wages aren't that high. They may go for someone like Sesko. I don't think Sesko is the answer, personally. But that's my concern. Maybe they're looking for the cheaper option. Who would you rather, though, Curtis Osimhen or Gyökeres? It's a great question, and I don't know. Uh, there's something about Gyökeres that when I watch him, he's just exciting. But Osimhen's, I think I'll go Gyökeres. That's a wild take because 1 year in Portugal, but I'm just going off what I see. Hardly ever injured. Done it in the Championship, which is a dirty, horrible league. Gone to Portugal, done it. Even doing it in Europa League. I'd probably go Gyökeres. I don't know. I don't know why. I could be totally wrong. A year ago, I'd have been going crazy for Osimhen, but I don't know. I don't know. Something tells me this guy is not the one for that price, but I'm going Gyökeres. I'm doing that celebration, but yeah, he's passing the eye test. He is passing the eye test. Anyway, let's move on from Osimhen. But yeah, good discussion. Big up to everyone locked in. 2,200 of you tuned in. Really appreciate it. I know it's quiet. We are going to do content. I'm going to do a watch along on Saturday for England against Brazil. Listen, and usually I would not go anywhere near an England game if it's a friendly. I'd rather watch paint dry. But because it's England-Brazil, Gabriel should be playing for Brazil, Saka and Declan Reiss for England. Obviously, Ramsdale's in the squad as well. I will have a show with Turkish this week. We haven't sorted out the day yet. I'll be on Supporters Club on AFTV on Wednesday. So we're going to be doing various stuff. I'm going to do a few collabs, get some people on this channel over the next week or two as well, and we'll do a member stream probably towards the end of this week, so make sure you keep it locked. From Monday next week, we'll be building up to the Man City game, which is absolutely huge, that is for sure. Anyway, let's move on, people, and speaking of moving on, are Arsenal going to sell Reiss Nelson this summer? I have to admit, it's very ambitious. It's very ambitious with what they're saying in this story. But let's discuss it. Brighton are keeping tabs on Arsenal winger Reiss Nelson ahead of a potential summer move. Sources have told Football Insider Arsenal are hopeful that Nelson could fetch a fee between 25 to 30 million if he does leave this summer. Now, you know, if he was at a different club, I wouldn't bat an eyelid at this. I would say 25 million for a guy that has played for England at under 21 level. He plays for a big Champions League club. 25 million is not bad. But because it's Arsenal, I'll be shocked if we got 25 million pounds for Reiss Nelson. Now, Nelson nearly signed for Brighton last year on a free. So they must really see something in Reiss Nelson if they think that a player they could have got for free last year who's hardly kicked a ball, you're maybe prepared to pay 25 million for him. Personally, I think it will be a bit less. Maybe at a push you get 20 million for him with 5 million in add-ons. That's probably the most that I think you would get. If we got 20 million for Reiss Nelson, I'd be happy. Just because I don't really have faith that we would get more than that. You gotta have faith. Dun, 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 dun. No, I'm sorry, I don't. I met Edu in LA, cool guy, but I don't have faith he's getting 20 million plus for Reiss Nelson. However, the question I'm kind of asking myself is, what is this guy doing at the football club? It feels almost pointless. They don't trust him. They don't trust him. You know, Saka drops 3 out of 10 performance and they still don't bring this guy on for him. So what's the point? You might as well sell him. Now, he's probably there because you have to have a certain amount of English players in your squad. But for me, I would 100% cash in on him. And I'm a little bit disappointed because I think we've mismanaged him. I personally think we've mismanaged Reiss Nelson. I think Reiss Nelson has got potential. The only way you develop potential is by playing it and allowing it to develop and then, you know, coaching. The guy doesn't kick a ball, so how's he meant to develop? What was the point giving him a new contract on 100 grand a week? I think they did that so he didn't leave for free, and the plan was to sell him this year. You get 20 million for him, I'm happy. Maybe 15 million with 5 million in add-ons. I'll take that. Curtis, would you put a cheeky bid in for Cole Palmer? Bro, he cost you a fortune. They paid, what, 35, 40 million for him? He's been probably their best player. So how much would you pay for it? He's worth probably 80 million. They paid 88 million for Mudryk. Cole Palmer's better than Mudryk, and he's English. So we ain't getting Cole Palmer, bro. Would have been a good deal when you look at how well he's doing on that right-hand side. A few of you were asking what happened to Talk is Cheap. Listen, we did, I think, over 100 episodes over like a 3-year period, and it was just decided they were gonna stop it. Now, we are talking at the moment about a new show, potentially on AFTV next year. Or next season, sorry. Start a long pre-season. So, potentially, you'll see a new show, a new weekly show on there. Maybe me and Cecil, maybe me and Robbie. Not sure yet, but we're just discussing it. Man City must regret selling him. Again, though, Palmer at City would not have been the player that Palmer is at Chelsea, because he wouldn't have played. He wouldn't have got the game time. And that's what I'm saying with Reiss Nelson. You can have talent. If you don't play, it doesn't develop. Palmer's gone to Chelsea playing every week. All of a sudden, he's in the England squad. And he's a player, by the way. I do actually rate him. But listen, Reiss Nelson for me, 20 million quid or more, I will take that money and run to the bank with it. And I think Arsenal do need to sign a new right winger in the summer. So if you get 20 million for Nelson, put that towards whoever, Elise or Neto or whoever we go for. So, yeah, man, I think it makes sense. We need better youth integration next season. It's funny because we always talk about Project Youth for Arsenal. And listen, we have got a young squad, but our young squad is based on signing players under the age of 25. So he signed his Odegaards, Ben Whites, and players like that. Declan Rice. He's invested in a lot of young players. But in terms of bringing players out of the youth team, he hasn't really brought anyone through. I don't know. You look at your Sakas and Smith Rowes, they were sort of integrated before Arteta. Yeah, he has helped develop them, but he just doesn't really like bringing them through. But hey, if he wins the title, who cares? Bond them mutes anyway. That's where we're at. I want a good left back with 3 lungs. Yeah, listen. Timber might take up that role, but we'll have to see on that one. And final couple stories before we round up, people. Big up to all of you locked in. Twitch gang as well. Big up everyone on YouTube. C-Unit Business and Thomas Partey. Remember him? He is actually playing for Arsenal at the moment, although he looks absolutely rusty as anything. Thomas Partey will not join up with the Ghana national team for the international break this week after he requested to be left out of the squad to stay at Arsenal and work on his fitness following his recent return from injury. I am happy with that. On one hand, maybe he could have done with a game time, but reality, you don't want him travelling, going to Ghana and playing in games, tough games. Keep him here, work on his fit. Listen, I've said it before and I've said it again. If you tune in on a regular basis, you've heard me say this a number of times. Thomas, 10 games. Thomas, 10 games, Partey, 10 games. This season's been horrendous for Thomas Partey. Been injured since August. Didn't get back till March. Looks rusty. You give me 10 high-quality games. You do whatever you want in the summer, my friend. You want to stay for the final year of your contract? See out your contract. You want to go Juventus? We'll sell you on the cheap. You want to go Saudi? Go and cash out. 10 games. 10 high-quality games where I'm calling him the general. You do whatever you want in the summer. Leave, stay, cash out, Juventus, on your bike. 10 games. Give me 10 games. All is forgiven for everything this season, missing about 30 games. Give me 10. Couple behind closed doors games during the international break. Few days training. Get him back. We're going to need him. We're going to need him, people. Trust me. I know Jorginho is balling at the moment, but you might need that double pivot with pure power. That Partey Reiss double pivot. 10 games. 10 games. You do what you want after that. You can... Listen, I know Wenger always used to say, like a new signing. This guy would be a game changer. I was speaking today about game-changing strikers. A fit, informed Partey is a game changer for Arsenal. And we basically haven't had him the whole season. So if he could... Oh, yeah, 15 games, really. Yeah, we want the Champions League. But you know what I'm saying? You get a fit Partey in that team. Partey, Reiss, Odegaard. Listen, different. Trust me, different. And that's no disrespect to Jorginho. Jorginho's played well. But prime Jorginho, prime Thomas Partey at Arsenal... Thomas Partey is still a level above Jorginho when it comes to the power and, you know, the all-round game. So, and like you said, Man City, United, Tottenham, those are the games away from home where you need that powerhouse as well. So, you know, let's see. Let's see. You think we'll go for a 6 during the summer? Want Douglas Luiz? Do you know what's interesting? Is that... and big up for the comment, K Bowers, is we know we're interested in Douglas Luiz, but a lot of the stories that I was reading was that Aston Villa are going to ask for around 80 to 100 million, which I actually don't blame them for. I think Douglas Luiz had a fantastic season. I think he's improved a lot since we were in for him. However, I mean, they were saying the price was in line with Declan Rice and Caicedo. They're now saying, I read a report today that Aston Villa are in financial difficulty and may have to sell a big player this summer. So, you know, if you could turn up and say, you know, I'll take a Luiz for 55, 60, who knows? Who knows? I think one thing's for sure. We're going to look for a midfielder this summer. We're going to need a midfielder. El Neni, I mean, I said to you guys the other day, don't be surprised if that guy gets a new deal. He set up a football academy in London and his son plays for them. You don't do things like that if you're looking to leave. But, you know, hopefully he does leave regardless. We definitely need a midfielder. Does Partey stay? Like I said, I was at the Emirates after the Porto game and somebody that knows Partey was saying, he said, listen, Partey's intention is to see out his contract. He doesn't want to leave in the summer. He's settled in London. He's got a newborn baby. He's got a wife. He likes it in London. He does not want to leave. Last summer, Arsenal were open to him going. He said no. And they reckon this year he doesn't want to go. He wants to see out his contract because he knows, number one, it's another 12 months in England with a young child and he's settled. And number two, next summer he would be able to walk for free. And that would mean a massive signing on fee wherever he was to go. So, listen, we'll have to see with that one. Another discussion point, people, and we are talking transfers. It's obviously a quiet week. Charles Watts saying that Arsenal are still interested in Amadou Onana from Everton. He did link this, though, to Thomas Partey. He said if Partey was to leave, he feels this could be someone they look for. Amadou Onana could be one to watch out for. There were a lot of links in January. He was told at the time there was nothing concrete. I wouldn't be surprised if he's someone look at when the season ends. I mean, the actual story is weak. It's a Charles Watts opinion. Listen, he might have an inside scoop. This, for me, Amadou Onana goes into that category of Yuri Tillemans. This, for me, is a player that when we finished 5th that year, I wanted Onana. We're now trying to win the title. I don't want him. I said at the time, I'll take him. He's big. He's 6'5". He breathes down your neck. DMX settings, you know what I mean? I thought, yeah, man, bring that power. This ain't the kind of power you want. He's horrible on the ball. It's not nice. He's like a giraffe trying to dribble. So no, I don't want Amadou Onana at Arsenal. Listen, if Everton get relegated, you can get him for peanuts as a squad player. Not the end of the world, but if they stay up and you're talking about 50, 60 million, I don't want nothing to do with this guy. Please just sign this brother Fofana from Monaco. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, get Fofana from Monaco. You get him for 40 million. He's way better than this guy. The guy's in the French squad and all sorts. I don't understand why we're not in for him. He nearly joined Nottingham Forest last year. Youssef Fofana, 25 years of age. The guy is a beast. And he can play. And he's in the French squad. And he's only 25. Guy's a baller, mate. Guy's a baller. Year left on his contract this summer. You probably get him for 40 million. If Arsenal, and listen, Monaco are having a good season. They're third in the league. 40 million. Absolute no-brainer. It'd be cheap. Onana would cost more than Fofana. Fofana's better than this guy. Clear of him. Fofana scored on the weekend. I don't understand it. I genuinely don't get it. And he played against us and bossed us as well in pre-season. We should be all over that signing. 40 million, there's your midfielder. Youssef Fofana from Monaco. We've obviously got a good relationship with Monaco because we sold Balogun. Although Balogun hasn't had a great season, so maybe they don't like us anymore. What's Balogun done this season? Balogun, 5 goals, 3 assists in 14 starts. Hasn't started a lot. Looks like he's getting benched quite a lot, so they're having a good season. Oh, wow, Big C's on zero tolerance with some... No, man, I'm telling you. Listen, you don't get yourself into this position, you know, and then go and buy these players. Nah, man. You sign these players when you're 5th and you're trying to get into top 4. Yeah, Fofana. Oh, not Fofana. No, Onana and Tielemans. Remember how excited we was for Tielemans? Yo, get Tielemans from Leicester. I was doing videos saying why Arsenal should sign Tielemans. If we sign Tielemans right now, I'd be doing Arsenal therapy. I'd do Arsenal therapy if we signed Tielemans from Villa. 2 years ago, I'd have been celebrating. That's the sign of the progression, people. That's the reality. That's that's me praising the football club. The standards have gone up, bro. I don't want these players. I don't want Onana. I don't want none of them. Standards have gone up. So, you know, I don't want them kind of signings. So, no. Yeah, no, people. No. Sorry, that's a real dad joke, but I just couldn't stay away from it. It was calling me. Just finally, last story before we round up. Yeah, and Tielemans is awful at Villa. Hardly ever starts. They got better players starting than him. Kamara and Douglas Luiz and all them. This is your international roundup. If you're looking for Arsenal players this week, or you want to watch some games and see how the Arsenal boys are getting on, then this is your roundup. This is on the Arsenal website in case you want to know. Kivior is in a playoff for Euro 2024, so big game against Estonia on Thursday. Zinchenko's also in the playoffs for Ukraine. They're playing against Bosnia on Thursday, so that's a big game. Jorginho's with Italy. They're in Fort Lauderdale in America against Venezuela. They're friendlies. Odegaard's playing against Czech Republic. Friendly. David Reiss in the Spanish squad. I don't think he'll play, though. They're playing at the London Stadium, West Ham against Colombia on Friday. Trossard playing for Belgium over there in Ireland on Saturday. I will be doing a watch-along on Saturday for this game, England against Brazil. Obviously, Ramsdale, Rice and Saka with England. Gabriel with Brazil. Ramsdale probably won't play. Rice and Saka and Gabriel will play. On that same evening, 8 o'clock, France against Germany. Saliba against Havertz. Friendly game, although Havertz played left-back the last time he played. Ecuador, Italy on Sunday. Jorginho in New Jersey. Another friendly. Tuesday, you've got Odegaard against Slovakia with Norway. You've got England against Belgium. Ramsdale, Rice and Saka. Trossard for Belgium. I'll probably do a watch-along for that. Germany against Holland. Havertz again on Tuesday. Saliba. France against Chile. And then Spain against Brazil. That's in Madrid. So at least with, like, for example, Gabriel and Brazil, rather than traveling, you know, to South America, Brazil are playing in England and Madrid. So no major traveling. Yeah, Harry Kane tweaked his ankle for Bayern Munich at the weekend, but he has travelled on international duty with England. So even if he is injured, I would imagine it's short term. If that was a major injury, he would stay in Germany and get treatment. The fact they've allowed him to fly to London to meet up with the England squad tells me it's a minor injury. Maybe he doesn't play for England. No disrespect, I don't wish injury on anyone, but obviously from an Arsenal point of view, would have liked him to have been out for a few weeks and missed both the games against Arsenal, of course, but it is what it is. Ross said, Curtis, you are on form today. See what no Arsenal games does for you. No stress, right? So it's just pure vibes, you know, them ones. But listen, big up to everyone locked in. I appreciate your support today on the show. He'll be back for the Arsenal game, unfortunately. Have you seen the Isak link? I have, but I'm not sure about Isak because the injuries. How much would he cost? They reckon they want at least 80 million. We're going to be linked with strikers every week between now and the end of the season, and then when we eventually sign the striker. One thing that is for sure, there is no excuse for Arsenal not buying one because there's so many good strikers or, well, strikers with a lot of potential that will be on the market. You can get Gyökeres, you can get Tony, you can get Osimhen, you can get Sesko, you can get Isak if you want to pay the money. So, no excuse for the football club this summer. Strikers available. Go and get one and make sure it's the right one. Listen, thank you very much for tuning in, people. Gabriel Martinelli and Gabriel Jesus are not in the Brazil squad. Jesus wasn't picked because of fitness. He put up a picture yesterday at Disney World. So, the players have been given the whole of the week off. Players have jetted all over the place and having a nice break, which is good to see. And good to see, obviously, you know, that's going to be Martinelli, Gabriel Jesus, Thomas Partey, a number of players who are going to be at the training ground rather than, you know, travelling all over. So, big game next weekend, next Sunday against Manchester City. Probably the biggest game of the season for Arsenal in the Premier League. So, this week will fly by, and then from Monday we'll build up to that. Don't forget, tune in for all the content this week. I'll be doing a show with Turkish towards the end of the week over on his channel, the OG's podcast, as we're calling it. Wednesday, I'll be on Supporters Club on AFTV. Look out for that. I'll do a member stream later on in the week, and on Saturday, I'll be doing a watch-along for England against Brazil. And I'll be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. As long as there's enough news, we'll keep it ticking over. And yeah, man, enjoy your Monday, people. Good start to the week. And I will see you all tomorrow, people. Bless.